There's a big mavuch in the Rishonim. If one says Shehechiyanu by Bris Milah, there's different minhagim. So we'll start from the beginning. The Rabbi paskins in Elchas Brachas that a mitzvah shim is man l'zman that comes around from time to time. He gives an example: kegoin shayfer v'sukkah v'lulav mikra megillah v'ner Chanukah. Or he says mitzvahs of kinyanim like tzitzis, tefillin, mezuzah, and maika. All these mitzvahs you say Shehechiyanu. He says also mitzvahs that are not tader and not so mitzuya, like he says they're similar to mitzvahs that come mizman l'zman, which is the hagdara that the Gemara gives when you're mechuyev to say Shehechiyanu. Kegoyin milas benoi upidyin benoi. Those mevarach alai b'shas asiyah Shehechiyanu v'kimanu. Those you make a bracha of Shehechiyanu. Any mitzvah is man l'zman, or mitzvahs of kinyanim like tzitzis and tefillin, or mitzvahs that are not mizman l'zman, they don't have a set time that they come, but they're not shchiach, not tader, so mainly you make a Shehechiyanu. The Shulchan Aruch brings down the Rambam, but he argues. He starts off. The Shulchan Aruch starts off. Sorry, I should really finish. The Rambam does say that that's only by mitzvahs that you're doing by yourself. Echad ha'isa mitzvah atzmai. He says a mitzvah that you're oisel acherim einem mevarach Shehechiyanu elal mitzvah shas l'atzmai. Only for a mitzvah that you do on your own, it's your own mitzvah, so it's your own simcha, so you make Shehechiyanu. But if you're doing it for someone else, if you're a shlich for someone else, you don't make Shehechiyanu on such a mitzvah. And that's how the Shulchan Aruch paskins. He says, "K'sha'av atzmai moyeles benai." If the father himself is doing the bris, mevarach Shehechiyanu. V'mamoyel hu ha'acher yesh eimrim she'ein sham berach Shehechiyanu. The Shulchan Aruch says that when a moyel is doing the bris, then yesh eimrim that you don't make a Shehechiyanu, because it's not his own mitzvah. It's not the shlich's mitzvah. It's the father's mitzvah. And then he brings the Rambam. The Rambam says, "Lo'elam ha'av mevarach Shehechiyanu al kol milah u'milah." You always make a Shehechiyanu. The Gaon says, because the Rambam holds that shluchish adam k'maisa, even by Milah, so when the male is doing the bris, it's as if the father is doing it, so the father himself is doing the mitzvah, so the father can make a Shehechiyanu even by the bris. And mistam the Shulchan Aruch maybe is chelik, the Shach and the Ktseis hold that there's no shlichus by Milah, so it's as if someone random is doing the mitzvah, so the father can't make Shehechiyanu in such a case. And for sure not the shlich, it's not his own mitzvah. The Shulchan Aruch says, "V'chein nagu b'chol malchus Eretz Yisrael v'suryu s'vivesel malchus Mitzrayim." This minig of making Shehechiyanu by bris, they're neg in Eretz Yisrael, and all tzvivas in Mitzrayim, that's a minig. And the Ramah goes, and this is how we pass over, "Ubimdinas elu negin shaloi levarach Shehechiyanu." You don't make a Shehechiyanu afilu kshav atzmoi mol benoi, even if the father himself is mol benoi. He says, unless, it's interesting, he brings from the Maril, unless, unless he's being mal his oldest child, his bechar, that there's a chiv pidna ben. So instead of making the Shehechiyanu b'shas pidna ben, which the Gemara says in Pesachim, that you make a Shehechiyanu over there, you'll make it b'shas Milah, and you won't make it b'shas pidna ben. Which is a little interesting. You'll make it earlier b'shas the Milah. Milah, you're not mechuyev to make, and you never make. But if it's your oldest kid, and you're going to make b'shas the pidna ben, so then you're mechuyev to make it b'shas the milah instead of the pidna ben. Maybe we'll get to that later. But the Ramon, that's what Paskin says. B'mdinas elu noigen shloi levarach Shehechiyanu. So in chutzlarts we don't make a Shehechiyanu, and the Shach says even we don't even Paskin like the Ramah that of noi bechar we still don't make a Shehechiyanu by milah. And in Eretz Yisrael the takanayig like the Shulchan Aruch says, like the Rambam, to make a Shehechiyanu. There are some kilos. I saw Chabad and Bells in Eretz Yisrael don't make Shehechiyanu, and Chaim Berlin Kaidu makes Shehechiyanu even in Chutzlarts. So there are different. What? Ashkenaz. I don't know. Sfardim do like the Shulchan Aruch, like the one.
Every time or the first time?
This is every time. It's all every time. Al kol milah is lashon ram. They make al kol milah. I saw Bayash, someone asked Bayash if he lives in Eretz Yisrael and he went to Chutz La'aretz and he had a baby there, and he's planning Daiti Lachsa to go back to Eretz Yisrael. could he make a Shehechiyanu? And Rabbi actually said he shouldn't make a Shehechiyanu, and it's a Bracha Levatala if he does. That was the psak. There's a lot of Rishonim get involved. Why Taka don't you make it? What's it sad? The Rama says you don't make a Shehechiyanu. Why wouldn't you make a Shehechiyanu? Taisvis and Sukkah asks why by mitzvahs lulav Sukkah you make a Shehechiyanu and by Milah, by Pidna Ben you make a Shehechiyanu, by Milah you don't make a Shehechiyanu. So he says, Taisvis says an interesting thing. He says that by and he says Taisvis has a raya. He says that in Pirkei Rabbi Lazar it says all the brachas that you make al Milah lachnisa. It doesn't say anything about Shehechiyanu. So it's mashma you don't say Shehechiyanu. Taisvis says because lulav and Sukkah and Shofar and all these mitzvahs, he says there's simcha by those mitzvahs. Mashenkin by Milah, there's no simcha. That's what Taisvis says. Why exactly there's more simcha by these mitzvahs over Milah is not so clear. I heard a few shirim over sukkahs about that, but Taisvis says that there's no simcha. There's Tais in Erevin, he brings some Tais Shans, and Rabbi Tam also says that this is a more famous reason. The reason why you don't make a Shehechiyanu by Milah is because Tzar Diyanuka, there's a Gemara in Ksubas that says that by Shav Brachas you say Shah Simcha b'Ma'inai, because there's such great Simcha by Shav Brachas, and by Milah you don't say Shah Simcha b'Ma'inai by benching because Tzar Diyanuka, which doesn't mean the Tzar of the kid. The Rishonim say it means the Tzar of the father that he's having when his kid is crying and is in pain. The Rikech says that he's trudim with the kid, he's tired with him. So you don't say Shah Simcha b'Ma'inai because of Tzar Diyanuka. And Taisva says b'shem Tais Shans that you don't say Shehechiyanu also because there's Tzar. You need to have a Spitz Simcha, and by Milah there's Tzar. So I saw the Rashba asks that the Rashba in Shuvas asks that Shehechiyanu, he says, is not tali in Simcha. Shehechiyanu is tali in getting a teyelis and getting a benefit. A person can make a Shehechiyanu even if he's bitzar. The Gemara says that if someone loses his father, then he makes a baruch emes, and also he makes a taiva meitiv on a yerusha. If he gets a big yerusha, he makes a taiva meitiv. And the Gemara says that that's only when he has brothers, when he's sharing the simcha, but when he's on his own, he makes a Shehechiyanu. So clearly, even when he's bitzar and avelis, he still makes a Shehechiyanu. And Eliezer Feldman told me also the shitas hagoyin. The halach is we don't make a Shehechiyanu. Shulchan Aruch you don't make a Shehechiyanu during the 9 days. And the Gaon says that it's a Chumir Yisera because it's a Chumir Yisera, and he brings a raya from this Gemara that someone who loses his father, he still says Shehechiyanu on the Yerusha even though he's ba'avelos. The Rashba says that a person can be bitzar and still make a Shehechiyanu. The reason why we don't make a Shehechiyanu, the reason why the halach of Shehechiyanu, l'mashal by Yerusha, is whenever he's having tayelis, whenever he's having a benefit, he got a big Yerusha. It might be a sad time, but he got a big Yerusha. Is what to make a Shehechiyanu on. So by Milah, very nice is Tzar Diyanuka, might be a little sad, not so geshmak, but if there's a benefit, we'll see exactly what the benefit is. But if there's a benefit, so then you should make a Shehechiyanu. So Tzar Diyanuka shouldn't be enough of a reason to not make a Shehechiyanu. The Mordechai in Shabbos brings from Rabbeinu Simcha, and the Geis Maimnis brings it also in the end of Hilchos Milah. He says a very interesting reason. The Gemara says that a person makes a taiva meita when he shares his simcha, and he makes a Shehechiyanu when it's his own simcha and he's not sharing it. So the Gemara asks the kasha that the Bris says that you make a Shehechiyanu when you make a taiva meitiv, when a person's noel ben zach, when he has a kid, a ben zach, he makes a taiva meitiv. So how can you tell me that when you're sharing a simcha, who are you sharing a simcha with? It's your own simcha, so why do you make a taiva meitiv? So the Gemara says that you're sharing it with your wife. It's a simcha for your wife also, so that's why you make a taiva meitiv. And if it's by your own simcha, then you make a Shehechiyanu. So Zakter ben Simcha, the guy's Maimonides brings down, he says that by Milah, also, with the mother. She's also besimcha. Just like the Gemara says, by Noel ben Zachar, she's besimcha, so you don't make a Shehechiyanu. So he says, what about by Pidna ben that you do make a Shehechiyanu? What happened to the mother over there? Why is she not besimcha? He says, the hasam leka simcha. Ela simchas kiyam mitzvah. By Pidna Ben, the whole simcha is the simchas kiyam mitzvah. The father's mechayiv in the simcha, and the mother's in the mitzvah, and the mother's not mechayiv in the mitzvah. By Milah, even though the mitzvah is only on the father, not on the mother, even though she's not mechayiv, mikol makam simchahi b'yom habris. Sounds like he's saying, besides for the mitzvah, maybe the mitzvah is not a great simcha like Taisus says, but there's the yom habris is a yom tiv for the father, and it's yom tiv for the mother also. Her son is being nichnas l'bris. So Mamela, they can't make a Shehechiyanu because it's a shared simcha. So Milah, that's why we don't say a Shehechiyanu. That's what the Rabbi Simcha says to answer this kasha. Why by Milah don't we make a Shehechiyanu? So the guy asks on this Rabbi Simcha that first of all, very nice we don't make Shehechiyanu, but why didn't we make a Teva Meitiv? It's shared simcha. You should make a Teva Meitiv. That's number one. But he also says he argues on Rabbi Simcha. Rabbi Simcha says that the reason why you're making a bracha, the reason why you're not making a Shehechiyanu is because it's a joint simcha, because the simcha is the yom bris, which is the yom tiv of bris, that the Aviyah Ben doesn't say tachnan, and there's a in of suda, so it's a yom tiv. So he's sharing that with his wife, and Mameli you don't make Shehechiyanu. In fact, the guy, that's not true. That's not the Shehechiyanu. You're not making a Shehechiyanu on the Yom HaBris, you're making a Shehechiyanu on the mitzvah, and the mitzvah is dafka by him and not the wife. So he argues on Rabbi Simcha and says that the Shehechiyanu you're making is on the mitzvah, and the mitzvah is only by the father, and it's by one person, so you should make a Shehechiyanu. It's not a reason not to make a Shehechiyanu. That's what he asks on Rabbi Simcha. So there is a Taisus that Taisin Ervin Daf Mem is also mavor like Rabbi Simcha. Taisin Ervin Daf Mem says that Rabbeinu Yakar once had it that it was a Tisha B'Av Nidcha and there was a bris, and after Mumchei, he says they sat down to eat the Suda. The Aviyah Ben he broke his fast and he sat down to eat the Suda because of the Yom Tiv. And Taisa says that Shtei in Pasuk Sasam Echel Mersacha. So you see there's a Yom Tiv on the Yom Bris, and that's why he was able to break his Suda. Frak Taisvis, so why don't we say Shehechiyanu? And Taisvis says because it's Tzara Diyanuka. But it sounds like Taisvis wants that the Shehechiyanu should be because of the Yom Bris. It's a Yom Tiv, so you make a Shehechiyanu. Which sounds like a Ben Simcha that's the reason why you make a Shehechiyanu. So the Vada we have two reasons why you make a Shehechiyanu is either because of the Yom Tiv that the Aviyah Ben has on the Yom Bris, or is it because of the mitzvah, like the guy says you're doing a mitzvah. Like by Pidna Ben, the mitzvah is Machayv Shehechiyanu, so too the Milah. There's a very interesting Beis Hillel in the Shul that's brought down the Shulchan Aruch on the bottom, which sounds like he has a third side. The Beis Hillel asks a kasha like this: Ram says you're Mechayiv Shehechiyanu al kol Milah u'Milah. Fact the Beis Hillel that there's a Shulchan Aruch paskins that Bein HaMitzarim we don't make a Shehechiyanu. Except if you're paid to your son for Pidna Ben, then you can make a Shehechiyanu. That's what the Shulchan Aruch paskins in Arachim. So by Pidna Ben, during the 9 days, you can make a Shehechiyanu. So Frekt the Beis Hillel, he has a kasha that according to the Rambam, you're supposed to make a Shehechiyanu on every bris. I'll call Milah u'Milah. So that means if the Pidna Ben falls out during the 9 days, 23 days before that was his bris, and the father made a Shehechiyanu on by the bris, according to the Rambam. So he asks, how can you make two Shehechiyanus? How can you make two Shehechiyanus? You can make one by the bris and one by the Pidna Ben. You can't make two Shehechiyanus. So he says, Venera, it must be that the Rambam, the Shulchan Aruch is talking about if the father wasn't around to make a Shehechiyanu by the bris. He wasn't around. So Mamela, he didn't make Shehechiyanu by the bris, and the Pidna Ben falls out in 9 days. So Mamela, he makes Shehechiyanu. But it can't be that the father was around. He says, what are you going to tell me that you make Shnei Pam Shehechiyanu, Daini b'shas Milah b'shas Pidna Ben? Ze'enai deloi metzinu b'shum makom levarach Shnei Pam Shehechiyanu. We don't find anywhere 2 times you make a Shehechiyanu. So the question is, what do you mean we don't find anywhere? We just had Sukkah, and the next day we make on Lulav. By Megillah, we have the first day, the second day, we make Shehechiyanus. We say they're making 2 Shehechiyanus. Teretz is there's two mitzvahs. One's on Sukkah, one's on Lulam, one's on Megillah, one's on the second day or the day Megillah or the mitzvah Hayim. But we say to making two Shehechiyanu is not a problem to make two Shechechiyanus. You don't make two Shechechiyanus on one thing. So there are two mitzvahs. There's Milah and there's Pidna Ben. Why is that considered making Shehechiyanu twice? Why is that considered making too many Shechechiyanus on one thing? It sounds like from the Beis Hillel that Pidna Ben and Shehechiyanu, it's not, you're not making on the mitzvah or even on the Yom Tov, so then it would be two separate things. It sounds like on the Milah itself that there's a tzad hashav between Milah and Pidna Ben, which could be, I was thinking, that Milah, besides for the mitzvah and the Yom Tov, but you're being mashlim the chesaron that your kid had. He was an Arel, and now you're turning him into Klei Kibul for Torah. You're being mashlim your kid. So that's the Shehechiyanu, that's the simcha that you're having. And Pidna Ben is a little different, but it's also the kid wasn't ready for life until you're paid to him. You need to be paid to him, and until you're paid to him, he's not fully developed he's not fully developed. You didn't finish everything that needs to be done for this kid to be able to do the rest of the mitzvahs. So both Milah and Pidna Ben are the same inyan, that the simcha is you're being mashlim the chesaron that the kid has, and it's a personal simcha that you're being mashlim your kid. You're doing ashlama to what your kid needs to be able to go through life. So Memela, for the Beis Hillel, two Shechechiyanus on one thing, you already made it by Milah. Why are you making it again by Pidna Ben? Even though you're doing more, but it's the same inyan. You don't even make two Shechechiyanus on that one same inyan. The Reikeach says that the reason why you don't make Shehechiyanu is because the reason why you don't make Shehechiyanu is because the kid is not yet out of the 30 days that he's not a neifel anymore. It could be he's a neifel, so Memela you can't make a Shehechiyanu. That's what he says, you can't make Shehechiyanu. So all the Rishonim asking him, the Rashba says, what do you mean? For Linyan Shabbos, if he was a neifel, you can't touch him. He's muktzah. Linyan Shabbos, Linyan Shabbos HaChamer, we're makel that he's not a neifel. Why? Because we would go bus right. It's kol chadashav. So why in the world should we be chayshish that he's a neifel when it comes to the Shehechiyanu of Milah? So it could be like this. The reason is not because it's not a big enough simcha because he might be a neifel. But if the simcha is the shlama that you're doing to your kid, if there's a tzadeh is an eifel, it's only mushlam after 30 days when he goes out from being an eifel. So then that's a full shlama. The kid's ready to go on to life. But until then, you don't have a pratik shlama, and Milah you can't make a Shehechiyanu until after 30 days. I was thinking one afkamina. This is very interesting. My father was telling me over a dik in the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah says, very interesting, that by Purim, we know you make a Shehechiyanu the second day, and you're supposed to be mechaven that the Shehechiyanu not only goes on the Mikra Megillah, but also on all the mitzvahs again, on the Sudas Mitzvah, on the Sudas Purim, on the Mishloach Manos, the Matan Savyanim, and all the mitzvahs again. Sagt the Mishnah Berurah, v'nochem lechaven, he's bringing from the Pri Megadim, v'nochem lechaven beberch Shehechiyanu, gam al Mishloach Manos v'Sudas Purim, shem gam kein mitzvahs, v'yoidiyah zel l'shliach tzibur, and you should be meidiyah the shliach tzibur ha-mevarich, to boi kavanah shemei u'mashmiah. You need kavanah shemei u'mashmiah. You need to make sure the shliach tzibur, the person who's making the bracha, is mechaven for these 4 mitzvahs, because you need kavanah shemei u'mashmiah. Now the question is very interesting, because what do I care if the shlich tzibur is mechaven that it's going on all 4 mitzvahs? I'm being mechaven that it's going on all 4 mitzvahs. He's being mechaven to be writing me a Shehechiyanu. What do I care on what he's mechaven that the Shehechiyanu should be? If I'm being mechaven what I want it to be on, so it should work for me. I'll take a Shehechiyanu and I'll use it for whatever I want. It sounds like in the Mishnah Berurah that you can't just the Shehechiyanu is chal on what it is. It means if someone's making a Shehechiyanu because they had a girl, and someone else is making a Shehechiyanu because he wants to be in kind of mitzvahs lulav and is making a Shehechiyanu on that mitzvah, then you can't just be mitzvah someone with a Shehechiyanu. You can't say I'm making a Shehechiyanu and it should work for your reason. Each Shehechiyanu is chal on its reason. You
yourself could make a Shehechiyanu on 2 separate things, like we have the fruit and the sugar.
So you're mechaven for those things. You can make a Shehechiyanu for 2 things. I said it. You're being made on 2 things. But if I make a Shehechiyanu for one thing, my Shehechiyanu is a Shehechiyanu on the simcha of having a girl, and now I'm trying to be mighty with that Shehechiyanu. It's a different Shehechiyanu. If you're machavin that Rishmei Karna
Why shouldn't it work? By Gimel it works, by other things it
What?
The
The
Shehechiyanu
Shehechiyanu?
is not a to do that.
What?
And we do it for each other.
No.
Like you say.
No. But the Mishmur is medayik that you need to be that the Shehechiyanu needs to be specifically on the thing that you want it to work for. So the question is like this, and with this I'll finish. The question is, let's say I know Rabbi Yashiv used to have a bunch of brisim lined up in front in the caravan, and a bunch of people wanted him to be sandik, so he had a bunch of brisim lined up. He used to be sandik and jumped to the next one, the next one, the next one, and they used to go from bris to bris. So what's the halacha? One person gets up and he says, I want to be mitzvah everyone Shehechiyanu. Alright, so I'll make Shehechiyanu, I'll do the Shechiyanus for everyone, and it'll work for everyone. So if it's for the mitzvah, we're all doing a mitzvah of Milah. So just like you might say one Shehechiyanu, you might say all the Chris Megills or Lula or Shayfer, so why not? But if it's for and the yomtiv, you can clarify about, but if it's for the shlama of the kid, Kipshutit should be telling every single kid, and maybe you wouldn't be able to mitzvah him with mitzvah everyone else with Shehechiyanu.
Yeah.